Nearly 500 of the more than 4,200 migrants rescued from the Mediterranean continue to arrive in Italian ports this Sunday. 22 operations involving ships from Italy, Ireland, Germany, Belgium, and Great Britain rescued the migrants from fishing boats and rubber dinghies. While the nationality of the migrant has not been disclosed, many come from Libya, where the country has fallen apart after the NATO bombing campaign to overthrow Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. Last month alone, an estimated 800 migrants drowned off the Libyan coast. A pro-police rally at Baltimore City Hall was disrupted by activists in the latest flare-up since a 25-year-old black man died from injuries sustained while in police custody. Dubbed Blue Lives Matter, police supporters gathered at the War Memorial Plaza outside City Hall before being peacefully confronted by activists who say police routinely violate the rights of black people in the United States. In April, Freddie Gray died from severe spinal injuries sustained after being taken into custody by Baltimore police. The death sparked mass protests in the city. Meanwhile, in East Harlem, protesters gathered to demand the release of Oscar Lopez Rivera, a Puerto Rican nationalist and activist who has been in U.S. prison since 1981. Democratic House Representative Nidia Velázquez was among the protesters who were demanding that U.S. President Barack Obama release the well-known activist, the former Vietnam veteran who is currently serving a 70-year prison term after being sentenced on charges of sedition, conspiracy, and several other crimes. Lopez founded a high school and Puerto Rican cultural center before the U.S. government arrested him.
In Honduras, university students have taken actions to demand that they are heard by the authorities. The student movement points out that there is not the proper conditions for a quality education and that the government is spending its budget in non-priority sectors. Also, many students are forced to go to private institutions, which means that they can't afford further education.
We can see that the state has stopped giving money to the university. We have seen in the last years that the state doesn't spend money on education, but they do on military. All these announcements, academic reforms, and what the university authorities are saying are just to apply the market logic to education. There are two hegemonic projects, the market and the people. The university isn't giving answers to the people's problems, but answering to the needs of the market.
The National University in the last 5 years has spent more than $5 million on the construction of new buildings and facilities, but students feel that their priorities are wrong because there has been very little investment in classrooms or labs. They also complain that for the past 11 years, student elections have been suspended and student representatives are elected by the authorities.
This is the never-ending story, because 10 years have passed and there should be student elections. There are some situations inside the university that have resulted in less student participation. What has been done is aesthetic changes to the university. However, there has been nothing done about student participation.
Students have announced more actions, and it is expected that next week they will be joined by the middle school students who also feel that their right to a good education is also under threat. Gerardo Torres, Telesur, Central America.
A Colombian national accused of being the mastermind behind the murder of Venezuelan lawmaker arrived in Venezuela to face charges. After being extradited from Colombia, Leiber Padilla Mendoza, alias El Colombia, is charged with the October 2014 murder of Robert Serra. Venezuela's youngest legislator, the 25-year socialist politician, and his partner were killed in his house. With security camera footage showing several men entering the home, other suspects in this case signaled Padilla, who holds a dual Colombia-Venezuelan citizenship, as the organizer of the assassination, paying hundreds of thousands in US dollars to his collaborators.
Hundreds of people gathered in Córdoba City in the central region of Argentina for the inauguration of the Ernesto Che Guevara Ophthalmological Clinic last Thursday. It is part of the so-called Operation Miracle, a healthcare initiative by the Bolivarian Alliance for the People of Our America, or ALBA, conceived by former Venezuelan and Cuban presidents Hugo Chavez and Fidel Castro to provide free medical attention to people affected by visual diseases.
Operation Miracle has given back the eyesight of millions of people in Latin America and in the Caribbean. People who were not able to read or had a hard time communicating with their families, and that for that person is a valuable contribution in their lives.
This clinic was built by the A Better World is Possible Foundation with the endorsement of the Cuban and Venezuelan governments, and its treatment model is inspired by the Cuban proactive healthcare model and the Barrio Adentro medical programs developed in Venezuela since 2004.
This is the result of years of work. We are not beginning out of thin air. We have been working for years as a team, together, overcoming difficulties and getting together to take the right to visual health to all the people. This is the result of that work.
The inauguration was also attended by Aleida Guevara, daughter of the Argentine-Cuban revolutionary leader and medical doctor Ernesto Che Guevara, who pointed out that the legacy of Che Guevara and Hugo Chavez remains alive in these initiatives.
ALBA is a Bolivarian alternative for the peoples of our America, so it is the dawn of our peoples. The fact that it reaches a country in which the government is not a part of ALBA yet is something beautiful, because that means that we do not work with governments, but with the peoples, and that is ALBA.
Unlike the neoliberal ideology which sees healthcare as pure business, this new medical center seeks to contribute to the ongoing progressive transformations in Latin America. Adriano Ponce, Telesur, Córdoba.
Just one day after being re-elected to a fifth term, FIFA's president Sepp Blatter spoke to the press amid the soccer governing body's worst ever scandal. On Wednesday, the U.S. Justice Department indicted several top officials, including the organization's vice president and the heads of CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, the regional bodies for South America as well as for the Caribbean and North and Central America. U.S. officials allege mass corruption in the selection of the host for the 2010 World Cup as well as in the 2011 FIFA presidential elections. The 79-year-old Blatter told media that he felt relieved after being re-elected and was not been involved in any illegal activities.
Facts that have marked the course of history. Productions designed in the English language and made for the English-speaking world. This is Documentary. Watch it on telesur.net/English. Telesur, wherever the news, you'll be there.